Morning, everybody. Hi, James. Glad to be here and glad to get a chance to speak about what Dshs is doing to implement the Disability Lifeline law. And my PowerPoint probably has a lot of things that have already been touched on by Robin, so I'll try to buzz through those quickly unless someone has a question. My objectives in making this presentation, other than to let people know what we're doing, is to make sure we're on the same page with Disability Lifeline changes, make sure that people understand what DSHS is doing to implement the law, and then to work with you in identifying challenges that the communities face to deal with some of these changes. Most of the requirements of the Disability Lifeline program for receiving assistance are the same as they used to be under GAU. The person who applies still has to show that they were temporarily disabled, and they have to provide medical evidence that documents that. They need to, if they are approved for assistance, they need to show that they're participating in any needed treatment and following up on referrals we might make, such as referrals to the Social Security Administration. And we also have periodic incapacity reviews to make sure a person is still sick and hasn't gotten better. And that remains the same under Disability Lifeline, with the exception that now, after 24 months, a person would be no longer eligible if they've received 24 months of assistance within a 60-month period. And there are exceptions to that. People who are on the AGED program, what used to be called GAA, General Assistance Aged, or blind or disabled, having been found disabled by a medical reviewer in the Department of Disability Termination Services, or people that have been found as potentially SSI eligible and been put on expedited Medicaid. All those people are not subject to the time limits. This is probably what people are most interested in hearing about what we're doing, which is how we've conducted case reviews. As you know, the department had to identify and kind of go back through and count how many months people were on assistance, and it's sometimes difficult to figure that out. We just can't look at the start date for their current period of assistance because they could have been on and off, on and off. So once we got that list, the headquarters people sent out the regional lists for each region. In Region 4, which is Seattle-King County, we had about 1,650 cases sent to us, and actually that number grew just a little bit over time because people transferred in from other regions. And we reviewed those cases from the middle of April to July 1, got them finished, and I think with a fair degree of quality. We had some really experienced reviewers who had been, most of them had been doing SSI facilitation or other GAU work for at least 7 or 10 years. And so I think they did a really good job in reviewing the cases that they did. I was very impressed, and they did a lot in a short period of time. But 40% of those that were reviewed statewide were found to be disabled. In King County, we found about 43% actually. So it's a little bit higher here. Statewide, exactly 1,000 people were referred for what used to be GAX, now it's DLX, and approved. And out of the 1,000, or a little over 1,000, I think just about 40 or maybe 100, I can't remember, it was a very low number, were denied for GAX. 169 cases were referred for Medicaid through a different process than GAX. If they were non-citizens, they're not eligible to get SSI, or if, in most cases, in some cases they are if they're here within a certain time limits. But so for those people, they were referred for just a state determination of Medicaid eligibility. So we had 169 of those. As I said, statewide, 60% of those reviewed did not appear to be disabled. Based on all the medical, we went through very exhaustively looking at all their past evaluations, and we had an extensive process we went through using an online tool to look at their previous medical and psychological evaluations, any case notes, and in some cases we didn't have enough information. We sent for additional medical, and then of course we had to try to do that early on so we'd be able to get it back before the reviews were finished. And so those people that were found not to be disabled are likely to be, but not 100% sure to be terminated in September. It sort of depends on what happens between now and then, whether the months counting was correct and so forth. We also made a large number of referrals to vocational rehab, including I think